I go to Finland and rob a house, and you go to Finland a year later, and people to be angry at you because I called your program a few times.
Yeah.
Like, there isn't a relationship.
Right.
There is they just know one another, but that's about it.
Right. Interesting, man. Thank you, Denny. Appreciate it. Thanks for the history.
Always, Mr. Hake, and as always, would really like to send my regards to all of your colleagues, because you guys are absolutely remarkable, and it's simply a joy to listen to you.
Cool, man.
You have amazing programs. I wish you Merry Christmas, all the best, and God be with you.
Thank you, man. Same to you, Denny.
Bye, sir.
All right, bye. That was Denny in Bulgaria. Something that he said, talking about blaming me for something he may have done in the past, or something that he did a year ago in a hypothetical story in which he robbed a house, and then they blame me because he called my show a couple of times. It reminds me of this, some of the attacks upon a guy who owns the website that JLP streams on, cozy.tv. Nick Fuentes. He's a streamer. Some might call him my competitor. He's hated in part, I think, because he has a huge following, I gather. And any person or movement that has a huge following are going to have some bad apples. Some people who might hack you, or, for example, or, Trump supporters say, might, like there was a Trump supporter, maybe it was a Trump supporter, I don't know, named Jew Goldstein on Twitter, and he did not appreciate this Kurt Eichenwald Jewish guy who went on Tucker Carlson's show and made a fool of himself, according to normal people. And I didn't watch the whole thing, but I know this story. This guy sent a DM on Twitter, direct message, private message, to Kurt Eichenwald, this guy who called himself Jew Goldstein. He was not a Jewish person. He hated Jews, I think. I'm assuming. It's the biggest assumption on Hake's part. But he's all to Kurt Eichenwald, this liberal Jewish guy who went on Tucker Carlson's show and was being dumb, apparently. He said, "You deserve a seizure for your comments," or whatever. And it was this flashing GIF. Some call it a GIF, but I think it's pronounced GIF. But call me and fight me about it. And it was this flashing GIF, and I didn't know this before, but flashing GIFs, flashing strobe images, or strobe light effects can cause people who are prone to seizure and epilepsy, which is seizures, I gather, to get a seizure. And his wife allegedly went on Twitter later and said, "This is Kurt Eichenwald's wife. You guys, meaning one person, caused my husband to get a seizure and go to the emergency room." And I'm saying it kind of mockingly. It may be true. I don't know. I don't know, though. And so, anyway, they prosecuted this guy, and the narrative is, Trump supporters are nasty people, deplorable, white supremacists, Jew haters. And same thing with Nick's followers. Like, Nick Fuentes of Cozy may not be advocating for people to be trolls and mean and nasty. He would say, express your position, your feelings toward these people, but don't harass them. And there's another guy, Andrew Anglin of Daily Stormer. I think that he may even be persecuted and prosecuted and on the run to this day. I don't know. I don't really know the story, but he covered this story of this woman who's just a nasty journalist who went after another guy named Richard Spencer, who was a pro-white guy back in the day, still to this day, I think. And there was this nasty woman who was not a Christian. I think she was Jewish too. So-called journalist, kind of exposed and harassed maybe Richard Spencer's mom. And so this Andrew Anglin guy covered it on the internet. And he has a lot of followers too. And some of his followers might have allegedly, or maybe it was bad apples who were pretending to be followers, harassed and threatened her, phone calls and stuff. And so she sued, and they're trying to just financially rape him and just throw him in jail. They're going after the whites hard, especially any white who acts up or anybody who acts up in their name. And so anything associated with him, he's getting blamed for other people's actions. What sense does that make? Not very Christian values. You hold individuals responsible for the individual's actions. But that's the unchristian values of today, where you blame hate crimes on Trump for saying Muslims or Mexicans or whatever, when so-called hate crimes don't even exist. When the crime that's committed, you hold the person who committed the crime responsible. People act like JLP is responsible for people getting stuff wrong or being mean and nasty with stuff that he's using, stuff that he says to be mean and nasty. You hear Joe from Phoenix all the time saying, "You're going to inspire a hate crime because you're stereotyping blacks." We're not responsible for other people's actions. We're telling the truth in love, or that's the goal anyway. And people want to use a love message such as Christianity to hate. That's the way of the world, dummies. That was a kind of a long rant about you're responsible for your own actions, not other people's actions. In short. Hopefully you got my message.